Hello everyone, welcome back. In the last video, we saw that ChatGPT was able to guide us through XRDP installation on Relay server. In this video, we're going to see how to set up a web server in this backend with the help of ChatGPT again. We'll see if it's able to succeed again. Let's get started. This is the Relay server that I'll be using to host my website publicly. If you haven't seen my last video on how to set up a GUI for the server, please go and check it. Note that even though this guide is for a Relay server, it is almost the same in all the Linux, such as Ubuntu or CentOS. So let's look at the prerequisites. Make sure your server is properly configured. My server here has internal IP, external IP, and also an alias. You don't yet need to have an alias, but you can get it from any domain name provider. But for now, if you have a virtual server in the cloud from AWS or any other cloud provider, that is enough for now to proceed. For this video, I'll be hosting a real-world project that I built called Primamento. Like I said, I have a domain name for my website provided to be by my IT team. You may have to purchase a domain name for yourself. If you don't yet have a domain name, you can just type in your public IP address in the address bar for now and proceed with the video. So first of all, make sure your website runs perfectly locally. I have a React project, and let me test locally if the website is functioning well. And after I make sure that it's working properly, I'm ready to deploy the project. And now I go to ChatGPT for help. Remember that your prompt has to be good for ChatGPT to respond well. So I write a detailed, specific prompt like this. Feel free to pause the video and read the prompt. Let's see what ChatGPT says. So the first step it says is to run npm run build to get the production version of the website. I will do so. If you have a React application, you can follow this. I will put all the commands in the video description below. So the second step after that is to install a web server software. ChatGPT recommends using Nginx, and I personally prefer Nginx over Apache. So I'll continue with ChatGPT's recommendation. I will also I will follow the commands to install Nginx. The command could be different if you are on a different Linux. After installation, I start and enable the Nginx service. And when we check the status, we see that Nginx is active. Now the third step is to transfer production files for the website to this remote system. I am going to use FileZilla application for this. I have a separate video on how to use FileZilla to transfer files to remote PC. If you haven't watched it yet, please do so. I will put a link in the description below. In React, you need this .htcaccess file if you are using Apache Web Server software. It handles the React routing. I will provide this regardless so that some of you might find it useful. And so now I will zip all the contents that I want to transfer and use FileZilla application to transfer it to the server desktop. In the future, I will create a video for CI/CD so that you do not need to transfer the files manually like this while updating the contents of the website. Basically, we can use GitHub for this. Please stay tuned for the video. But for now, let's do it the old school way and use FileZilla to transfer files. Now go back to the remote PC to see if the files are correctly transferred. I can see the zipped folder is here, so I extract the files here, verify that all the files are here. You can actually do everything in this video with just command line, but I find it more intuitive and less prone to errors by using GUI of the server. If you haven't yet set up GUI for your server, you can check my previous video. Now going back to ChatGPT, the next step is to copy the build files to the server directory so that Nginx knows which files to host when there is a request. But instead of copying to the server directory itself, I will follow the alternative approach and have a custom directory so that I can host multiple websites in the future if necessary. Note that the directory has to be created inside the www folder of the var folder. I copy this command to create a new folder inside the www folder and name it React app. I can check that the folder is created inside the www folder of var folder. Now I navigate to the current directory where my files are located and copy all the files to this folder like this. I made a typo as I forgot to put the asterisk. This is the advantage of using GUI. If you make a silly mistake, it's easy to find it out. Let me delete this folder and rewrite that command. Remember that I will provide all these commands in the video description so that it's easy to copy and paste. Now I can see that all the files are correctly copied. The next step, according to ChatGPT after this, is configuring the Nginx configuration file. This file tells Nginx where to look for HTML and other related files to serve when there is a request by the user. For this website, this file has to be created in this directory and with this content. So I copy the content and go to my server. I open terminal on my desktop and create this file. I use gedit to open the file and paste the content in the file. You can use Vim if you are more comfortable with Vim, but I find gedit to be more intuitive. Now I replace server name with our alias. The last step is to move this configuration file from desktop to the Nginx directory as such. After copying is done, verify the contents by opening the file. Now with this command, test the configuration file for errors. If no errors found, then restart the Nginx service. Finally, adjust the firewall settings to allow HTTP traffic on the system. After all these steps, now I check if website is live. But not surprisingly, we still do not get to view the website yet. There is good news, as the response is from Nginx server, meaning that we were able to get some sort of response from Nginx. I go back to ChatGPT, explain my problem, and ask for log files because I can only know what the issue is by reading the logs. I copy the command to view the last few lines of the log files and run it on my server terminal. I see the problem is with permissions. I copy the error log file to desktop to view it in my text editor. I select and copy all the error log content to feed to ChatGPT, and then go back to ChatGPT to ask for solution. So ChatGPT gives us a couple of solutions. The first one being permission with files and directories. We can test this, but I have a hunch that it could be the second problem. Since ChatGPT asked me to check the SE status, I see that SE status is enabled. So now I go to ChatGPT to see the next steps. I want to configure the SE Linux correctly as ChatGPT tells me to. So I copy this command and run it in my terminal. I do the same for the next command as well. Again, if you want to know what exactly is happening, please copy the command and ask ChatGPT for clarification. Now I restart the Nginx service and voila, with these changes, the website is now live, all thanks to ChatGPT. It's important to check if the website is functioning correctly. I found that everything was fine except for one part. The table of the data is not rendering. None of the data tables are rendering, meaning that the website failed to receive data from the database. Now this problem is very specific to the website that I'm hosting. I pause the video and try to find the bug in my code. So after debugging for a while, I was able to find the faulty lines of code and fix it. Again, it was something very specific to the website that I'm hosting. Sometimes errors come up, and yeah, you should be able to face it and solve it and fix it. You also have ChatGPT as your friend to assist with debugging. Finally, we're done. ChatGPT was helpful again. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope it was helpful. See you in the next video.